Welcome to the Passive Income Machine podcast, where we show you how to break free from the grind and achieve real financial freedom in 10 years or less. My name is Ryan D. Lee, and I've helped thousands turn income into cash flow, trade fake money for real assets, and take back control over their time, their wealth, and ultimately their life. Each week, you'll get strategy, tools, and mindset to build your own passive income machine. So my friends, sit back, relax, and enjoy today's episode. All right. You are back on the microphone today with me, Ryan D. Lee, and the Passive Income Machine podcast. And today we are talking about quite literally my favorite topic. Now, I do have to give myself a disclaimer. I'm pretty sure I say that at the preface of every podcast episode. But I love talking about money because money is a gateway and it's a tool to build and live a life that matters to you. And today, I've got a man that has built a legacy life, Bob Allen, with me. Bob, you want to say what's up to all the podcast listeners today?
Where do you want to go? How much money do you need to get there? And when you get there, what are you going to do? Well, you're going to retire. Well, frankly, retire?
We're talking financial freedom.
That is another terrible lie word. Yeah, retire.
It sure is.
I'm never going to retire.
You never do.
My wife is not happy about that, by the way.
You build a life that you don't want to retire from.
Well, it's my song. This is what I mean. Does Celine Dion want to retire? When you have a hit song, it's because you love it and you want to share it with people. So this is my song. This is what I do. There's no retirement, because when you're doing what you love to do, it's hard to not do it.
Yeah, it gives meaning to life.
Yeah, it really does. It does. So today, I'm going to write another book. We're writing our book here together. We're going to write another one after that. We're going to write another one after that. Why? Because that message will go out. It'll find people who are lost and they're struggling, just like you were in 2008 when you lost a whole chunk of money. And you said, is this the right path for me? Well, we're going to put a new path in front of millions of people. And we're going to, 10 years from now, 20, 30, 40 after I'm no longer here, these people will still be growing their wealth and like taking their families to new, when you change somebody's life, you change a generation of lives. And so we want to change your generations. Yeah, that's what we want to do.
Well, I love that, because a generation starts with you, my friend. The podcast listener, wherever you're at today, if you're driving in your car, if you're at the gym, if you're at home, you can break a generational legacy that has been built up to your life with one single decision. And I believe that single decision we're going to talk about today, because, a lot of people come to me, Bob, and they talk to me about their money. They talk to me about their money problems, and they talk to me about what they want. And they have a pile of money that they've accumulated over years, usually, that they want to reposition into the passive income machine. And that's all well and good. I don't want to downplay the passive income machine, because that is the gateway to creating financial freedom in 10 years or less. But most people that come to me, they fail to acknowledge what their best investment is. And today, that's what I want to talk about with you, Bob, is a person's best investments. And I have a fundamental belief that the fastest way to achieving financial freedom is having a system to know what to do with your money once you have it. But that's secondary to the best investment, which is gaining access, getting your hands on more money by becoming a better producer, creating more value in our world today. Now, Bob, you wrote several best-selling books. You found your talent early on in life.
I did.
And you magnified that talent. And as you magnified that talent, something interesting happened. A lot of money came into your life. Is that not true?
Yes, absolutely. Big chunks.
Big chunks of money, right? And here's the secret to wealth that no one talks about. Guess what, my friends? Dollars follow value. Bob, as you've maximized the value and created value with so many people, what have been some of your secrets to making more money?
Can I be totally honest here? When the money comes in real fast, it kind of goes to your head and you start thinking, I'm pretty cool. I'm pretty smart. I'm lucky. And so this is the danger of money. Money is dangerous. So you get a $1 million royalty check. What are you going to do with it? Well, first of all, you're going to go buy all the fancy things you should, cars and houses and things like that. And if I could relive my life all over again, I would go back to that very first time when I got those royalty checks, and I would say, let's let's put that away. Let's just live a modest lifestyle until we're truly financially free, where the streams of income are so permanentized that it can never go away. And so we took the money and we spent most of it, frankly. And we had to go out and make more. It was almost like a job. I got to go make more, and I go get another royalty check and $1 million royalty check. But I didn't do what you're teaching. Frankly, I'm your mentor. I got you started, but frankly, I'm learning from you now. What I'm trying to say is, you need to not let the money go to your head. Be really careful to be modest until you're financially free. And I did not do that.
I tell you what, I can't remember where I read this article, but back when I was first getting going on my path to financial freedom, there was someone who wrote an article. I think it was Bill Bonner, if I remember right. But I read his article, and he talked about, if you can save 50% of all you make, financial freedom, investing, you don't even have to worry about it. Like
it's true.
It's simple.
It's true.
And, I think a lot of people take that into the point of scarcity. They try to diminish their income and their expenses down to the lowest possible. But I don't know. I think it was a little bit of an entrepreneurial bug that my mom put into me. I thought, okay, cool. I'm going to save 50% of my income, but in order to do that, I got to make more money.
Yeah.
I've got to have more money coming in, and then it becomes easier to save more income. But I truly believe this, Bob. When we're talking about real estate, when we're talking about the vault, when we're talking about, the tools inside of the passive income machine, the rate of return that you can earn on those things is pretty much self-described, right? I can put it into a box and say, there's a range of expectation. I can expect to earn probably between 50% on the high end with real estate, and if it's done right, maybe 20 to 25% on the low ends, right? And so if that's the box that I'm in, then my investment is constrained. But the one investment that is not constrained is you. It's your ability to invest in your mindsets, your skill sets, and your connections, your network. And you can truly make, Bob, you made millions of dollars when everyone around you was making thousands of dollars.
Yeah, right.
So
that's true.
Still
do.
still do, yeah. Mindset, skill sets, network. Talk a little bit about that. Why are those important?
Well, one of the reasons that people don't like money is they say you can't take it with you. And that is the absolute false statement. You can't take your real estate with you, but you can take the skills you learned. You can create the relationships you take to the next life, the knowledge you've built, the wisdom you gained. All of that's you take with you, and therefore, whenever I go to a seminar myself, whenever I read a book myself, I'm a constant reader. I'm going to take everything I learned. It builds my wisdom. It builds me as a human being. It's the best investment I've ever made. I'm constantly investing in myself, frankly, because I'm going to take all that. Mm-hmm. We're going to that for the next life, hopefully in 40 or 50 years from now.
I love that. Yeah, Bob, he's got all the time in the world, man. But here's the reality, guys. Bob opens up a promise for you. He opened up a promise for me that you can retire or be financially free in 10 years or less. That was out of creating wealth. But in order for that to happen, you've got to become a new person. You really do, right? The mindsets and the skill sets that you have right now have led you to the exact financial position that you're in life. If you're dissatisfied with that in any way, it's not investing better that's going to fix the problem. It's starting with your mindsets and your skill sets first. And so what I've found is the fastest path to achieve financial freedom is figuring out how to go create more value. Really tap into my talents, solve problems, look at problems not as problems, but as opportunities to say, how could I be the solution to that problem?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And as you solve more problems and create more value, dollars follow value. So if you need and want more dollars to increase your lifestyle, to save more money, to achieve financial freedom, go invest first in your mindsets and skill sets. Hey, it's Ryan jumping in real quick with something that you do not want to miss. The How to Retire in 10 Years Summit is coming up, and this is the event that makes everything we do here possible. If you're ready to build real passive income and take control over your money and ultimately your life in 2025, now's the time. Early registration is open, and there's an exclusive bonus waiting when you join the list. Just hit the link in the show notes or head to retireintenyears.com. All right, back to the show. Bob, I think you did that kind of naturally, but if you can go back and kind of pick through how you graduated college, you didn't get a job, you started writing books, you started making millions of dollars. How did you know from such an early age in life that it was your mindset and skill set that would chart the course for you?
Intuition. So that means you kind of know things before they happen. And that's intuition and inspiration. I believe in a higher power, and I believe he inspires me to do the things that I do. And therefore, when I sense something that's the right thing to do, I follow that intuition. And that's a gift. And I think you can build that gift. So when you're watching this right now, how does it feel to you? Does what we saying to you, does it resonate with you? Like, these guys are telling me the truth. It seems like, although it may go against the way you are right now in terms of your job, etc., does it seem right to you? How does it feel to you? Does it sense like, yeah, this is the right thing to do? If so, then I'm going to ask you to follow that intuition. Now, there are two kinds of people in the world. There are employees and there are entrepreneurs. Employees are about 80% of us. Entrepreneurs are about 20% of us. And yet, an entrepreneur, really secretly, 100 years ago, all of us were entrepreneurs. We had to get out, plant the seeds, raise the cows, whatever, the chickens. And then we ended up spending the next 100 years where most people ended up working for other people into corporations and jobs and things like that. You need to awaken the entrepreneur in you. What he was trying to say is, what problems are around me that I can solve? And then when you do, you become an entrepreneur. Now, in this studio right now, we have all kinds of things that entrepreneurs created. They created that microphone right there. They created the module here.
They created these books.
Exactly. You have to decide yourself, what am I going to create so that I can solve some of the problems in the world? And everything in this, I can see in this room, was created by an entrepreneur. Every single thing in this room was created by an entrepreneur. And an entrepreneur looks at that light and goes, can I do that cheaper? Can I do that faster? Can I do that simpler? How can I make that one thing? And so everything you see as an entrepreneur gives you an opportunity to do it better, faster, simpler, easier, cheaper. And that's what entrepreneurs do. They take ideas and they make them better. They create value. So the value I've created is taking knowledge, making it simpler, easier. So when you read it, you go, oh, I can do that. And therefore, that's why wealth has flowed to me big time. Where is wealth going to flow to you? Well, first, get involved in the system we're teaching, which is a couple of properties a year, maybe 3 or 4 if you want to. You want a little faster, 5 or 6, whatever, but at least 2. Yeah. You check it off the list. You commit to me right now, I'm going to buy at least 2 properties in the next 12 months, period, end of story. Well, where do I do that? Well, when I wrote nothing down, I said, never buy a property outside of 50 miles, a radius of your own home. Never. And yet, Ryan does exactly the opposite of that. He says, go where the value is and let somebody else manage it a long distance. Yeah. And therefore, he's just taken all the things I used to teach, and it's made them so simpler, much easier. So you as an entrepreneur do that, and then when you get financially free, you go, well, what am I going to create? What should I create? How could I create that? That's kind of like your gift to the world. How do I help other people with problems that they have? And you become an entrepreneur. And the money in being an entrepreneur is magnitudes more than being an employee. And employees have certain values that are important to you and that may be the reason why you're stuck there. Employees are focused on security and stability, and they don't want to lose money. They don't want to risk anything. They want to be very, very careful. Therefore, they limit their opportunities because of that fear. As an entrepreneur, their values are different. Their value is freedom. I must be free. Must be free. And therefore, they look at the world totally different than employees. So freedom carries risks with it, more risk. But they're inside their comfort zone, and they realize I got to go outside their comfort zone to get those opportunities, and they're riskier out there to get these opportunities. Buying a single-family home in a state that's 2 states away from you, it kind of seems like risky, doesn't it? But the way Ryan does things, he's mitigated all those risks and made those risks much lower. And therefore, you can be an entrepreneur and still be safe. And yet still make the money that an entrepreneur makes.
Still make the money. And here's what I heard you say, Bob. I really, really like this. I believe an entrepreneur is a mindset more than anything. You might have an entrepreneurial mindset, but be stuck in a job right now. And that's okay, because listen, if that's true, here's your challenge. You need to become intrapreneurial. You need to look at the world around you and solve problems. Here's a couple of examples on this, okay? When I first graduated my college and I got my first corporate job, I made $35,000 a year. I'll never forget when I got that first paycheck. I turned it over a couple times looking for the rest of the money. I thought was supposed to be on that paycheck and it wasn't there. And I remember I had an inclination in my mind right there. I should just quit now. Now, I wanted more security in my life at that time. I had a wife. I had a child on the way. Yeah. But I wasn't resigned to stay at $35,000 a year. I started looking at every opportunity around me to solve problems and create value. And in the next 5 years, I took my salary from $35,000 a year to $150,000 a year. In addition to that, I read Bob's book, Multiple Streams of Income, and I launched my own business while I was a W-2 employee. I was making more money outside of the job than I was in the job.
Your side hustle was more profitable than your hustle.
But here's what I found. There's two things that people just get stuck in a box and they stop thinking outside of the box. They stop asking themselves questions. So if you want to make more money and you work for someone, you have to have an answer to this question. And if you don't, your job is to get an answer to this question. What is the most valuable thing you can do for the person you report to? Your boss? You're the owner of the company, whoever it is, whoever you have a direct report to, what is the most valuable thing you can do for them? And if you don't know the answer to that question, my friend, you are constrained to making the money you're going to make. But if you can go solve, so let me give you an example. In my world, I've got a couple of people that have brought so much value to my life that I have tripled, quadrupled how much money they've made since they've started working with me. And they're getting profit share, bonuses, things like that because they solve my problems. The faster they can solve my problems, the more I can go solve bigger problems as an entrepreneur and create a bigger space for all of us to play in. So don't get stuck. Don't let your mindset constrain you to how much money you think you can make. Fill in the blank. How much money do you want to make? And then go figure out how to create the value.
Yeah, that's right. Say yes, and then go figure it out. Exactly.
So mindsets and skill sets, I think those are the two first best investments. The last thing I want to talk to you about, because we came connected because of this third investment, it's a network. I really believe, some of the great networkers out there, they say your net worth is your network, right?
Yeah.
And I believe that's true. One of our great connections is Randy Garn.
Yes.
And I remember, I'm kind of wondering how I want to make a bigger impact. I want to, be able to say thank you to Bob Allen. I would love to write a book secretly with Bob Allen. And I asked Randy, I'm like, Randy, hey, how can I get connected with Bob Allen? And Randy's like, well, I'll make that happen for you. Right? And before I knew it, I was connected with Bob, and here Bob is in the studio. So don't also assume that people are the greatest assets there are out there. You are an asset. Your connections are an asset. And the more value you can provide for your network, the more opportunity your network is going to bring to you. Over my life, every quantum leap that I've had inside of my life has come from a connection.
Yep.
Every single time. It's never come from a podcast.
And
keep
yet
listening to the podcast.
Most people don't cultivate their network. Yeah. You might send them a Christmas card or a wedding invitation, but did you communicate with your network recently? Have you talked to them? Have you called them on the phone? Have you sent them a book? I read this book. I think you'd like it. Here. Then you send it out of the blue to people. There are 100 people around you are what I call make it happen people. Mm-hmm. And you need to massage to cultivate those 100 people, because those 100, they know 100 people. And therefore, with one phone call to your 100, you reach their 100, that's 10,000 people. And those 100 people in each of those circles, they know 100 people. So with 2 phone calls, you can reach 1,000,000 people, but most people never cultivate their 100. So if I were you, I would just start making contacts, because as they grow, these 100 you've known in college or somewhere else, a team you're on, they've grown into more strength and more courage and more personal internal assets, more value, each of them. And as they grow, you need to be growing with them. And if you're not growing with them because they're off, networking with other people, then you're just losing a huge, huge fortune of the network that's around you. you need to cultivate. And so that's what
I love that. And when Bob's talking about cultivating, it truly is that. I mean, I like to think about a network kind of like a bank account. I have to make a lot of deposits into a bank account before I can ever take a withdrawal. If I take more withdrawals than I make deposits, my account is overdrawn.
Yeah.
So think about it as a value creator. Dollars follow value. Exchange creates wealth. Go exchange your value with other people. Be the person that just randomly shows up. Be the person that sends a friendly text message. Be the person that sends a book. That whatever it is, add value to people's lives. And I promise you, it will create a greater return on investment than anything else you could ever do.
Totally.
In fact, the fastest path, I believe, to financial freedom is make more money. Then take the money that you're making, save 50% of it, or at least 10, but save 10 to 50% of what you're making and put it in the passive income machine and you're free for life. That's the game.
Whew. Sounds fine to me. I'm excited.
So, Bob, with your final words of wisdom for this episode today, you wrote the book Multiple Streams of Income. I think that was probably your most popular book, was it not?
Yeah. I think it has the greatest, because in the book, Multiple Streams of Income, there are 10 ways of making money. And so one of those ways you're going to like, right? Yeah. But real estate is the one you should absolutely do,
And multiple streams of income, I mean, if it's a function of creating value, investing in your mindsets and skill sets, do you think it's easier to make multiple streams of income today or when you wrote the book, 20 years ago?
Magnitude's easier today because there's so many more opportunities. And yeah, absolutely. In fact, if I rewrite multiple streams of income, there'd be another 10 that did not exist when I wrote this book in the year 2000.
So if you want Bob to rewrite an updated version of Multiple Streams of Income, I want you to drop yes, or I want you to hit me up on the podcast, because this book right here, like, I read Creating Wealth. I put that to work. I started buying my real estate, but very quickly I ran out of resources. My money was exhausted. I had to figure out how to get more resourceful to get more resources to keep buying real estate. Yeah. And I did that through multiple streams of income. The first side business that I launched, I mean, after creating as much value as I could in my corporate job, I realized that I got to a point where the trade-offs that I would have to make to make the next amount of money, I didn't want to make those trade-offs.
Yeah, time,
away
travel,
from family, all that stuff. And so I launched a online business called Empowered Life Solutions. Now, at the time, I was kind of struggling with some anxiety in my life, over just the stress load. I had a son who had just got out of heart surgery. I was coming off of recently losing all my money in 2008. I'm now a brand new real estate investor because of Creating Wealth. All these things were going on, and I was a little bit anxious. And so I was trying to find some holistic ways to deal with and work with anxiety and depression and move you into an area of happiness and healthy living. And I started putting some of the things I was doing online, and other people started resonating with it. Like, I'm struggling with that too.
Yeah.
And that's how I accelerated my portfolio so fast, is I tripled my income from my corporate job by putting out Empowered Life Solutions. And people were paying me for just teeny little breathing meditation downloads that I was doing, that were helping me through the day. And I put all of that money into the passive income machine. I put all of that money into creating my own financial freedom roadmap. But it was multiple streams of income that gave me the fuel to accelerate my passive income machine.
Yeah, that's why you need multiple streams of income. But remember, it has to be residual income. That means money that flows when you stop going to get it. And that's a hard lesson. Most people will get multiple streams, but then they'll end up with a job, a business that's a job, and they got to be there. If you have to be there for the money to be earned, then that's not passive. That's active income, and that's not the kind of streams of income you want. So in addition to the real estate that we're telling you about, and having 10, 20, 30, 40 properties, that's multiple streams. But there are other things you'll be doing on the side. So obviously I teach people how to write books because I think you have skills in you that you could turn into a book. And just like you were saying, you turned your information into an online stream of income, and then it ended up giving you more money so you could go buy more real estate, right?
Yeah.
So it's just ways to leverage your skill, the knowledge you have, into an extra stream of income. Yep.
Well, I love that. Well, Bob, I want to just again say thank you. You just recorded 3 episodes with me. You are the brain, you are the inspiration behind the passive income machine, and I'm so grateful for you. Grateful that you inspired me to make a change. Grateful that through me, you've been able to inspire thousands of more people, and then even beyond me, you've changed so many lives. And it comes back to this idea: what will your destiny be? You have an opportunity to choose that destiny by rising up, by taking control over your life, your choices, and your money. Use those resources, your time, your attention, and your money to chase down the greatest adventure of life, finding and living your purpose, using your talents in the service of other people. Make your legacy your life. And my friends, join us on the next podcast.
See ya.
All right, my friends, that's a wrap for today. If you're serious, though, about turning everything we talked about into your new reality, there's only one place you need to be. It's the How to Retire in 10 Years Summit. This is your chance to learn exactly how to unlock financial freedom and build passive income in 2025. Early registration is live right now with an exclusive bonus for our early action takers. Don't miss out. Head to the link in the show notes or just head on over to retireintenyears.com and I'll catch you at the summit.